Right now, somewhere in America, two coworkers are sitting at the same desk, earning the exact same salary, contributing the exact same percentage of their paycheck to retirement. And by the time they retire, one of them will have significantly more money than the other. Not because of market performance, not because of luck, not because one of them was smarter or worked harder, but because of a single decision they made decades earlier about which account to put that money into. That decision is the Roth IRA versus the 401k question, and it is one of the most financially consequential choices you will make repeatedly throughout your working life. Most people make it without ever actually understanding what they are deciding. They pick whichever option HR handed them on their first day. They select whatever their parents told them was smart. They go with the default. And the default is not always wrong, but choosing it without understanding it means you are leaving money on the table, sometimes a lot of money, and you will never even know it happened. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to show you the actual math behind both accounts, the specific situations where each one wins, the mistake that most high earners make when they finally start paying attention, and the strategy that most financial advisors use for their own money, but almost never explain clearly enough for the average person to actually implement. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which account you should be prioritizing right now, why that answer might change in 10 years, and how to think about this decision in a way that accounts for the reality of your life rather than a generic calculation a retirement calculator spits out. This is not complicated, but it requires you to actually look at the math instead of the branding, because both accounts have been marketed to you in ways that serve the institutions offering them more than they serve you. And once you see the real numbers, the choice becomes a lot clearer than anyone has ever made it seem. What these accounts actually are, and why the difference matters more than you think. Let me start with the basics, because getting these definitions precisely right is the foundation of everything that follows. A 401k is a retirement account offered through your employer. You contribute money from your paycheck before taxes are taken out. That means if you earn $5,000 this month and you contribute $500 to your 401k, you only pay income tax on $4,500. Your taxable income goes down. Your tax bill goes down right now this year. The money grows tax-deferred inside the account, meaning you do not pay taxes on the gains as they accumulate. Then when you retire and start withdrawing the money, you pay income tax on everything you take out, the original contributions plus all the growth. A Roth IRA is different in one fundamental way. You contribute money after taxes. You have already paid income tax on the money you put in. The money grows inside the account tax-free, and when you retire and withdraw it, you pay zero taxes. Not reduced taxes, zero. Everything you take out, every dollar of growth accumulated over decades comes out completely tax-free. That single distinction is the entire game. Everything else, the contribution limits, the income restrictions, the employer match question, all of it is secondary to understanding that these two accounts represent a choice between being taxed now or being taxed later. And which one costs you more money depends entirely on one variable, your tax rate now versus your tax rate in retirement. If your tax rate is higher now than it will be in retirement, pay taxes later. Use the traditional 401k. Get the deduction today when it saves you the most. If your tax rate is lower now than it will be in retirement, pay taxes now. Use the Roth IRA. Lock in the lower rate while you can and let everything grow tax-free. That is the framework. Now let me show you why applying it correctly is harder than it sounds and why most people get it wrong.
The tax math that actually determines the winner. Here is where almost every explainer video I have ever seen gets lazy. They show you a side-by-side comparison of Roth versus traditional contributions and make it look like the Roth always wins because tax-free growth sounds better than tax-deferred growth. But that framing is mathematically incomplete. Let me show you why. Assume you are 28 years old, you earn $60,000 a year, and you are in the 22% federal tax bracket. You decide to invest $500 per month into a retirement account for 35 years, and the account earns an average of 8% annually. If you use a traditional 401k, you invest pre-tax dollars. Because of the tax deduction, that $500 contribution only costs you $390 out of pocket. The other $110 is money you would have paid in taxes. Over 35 years at 8%, your account grows to approximately $1.1 million. When you retire, you pay income tax on withdrawals. If your effective tax rate in retirement is 15%, You keep approximately $935,000 after taxes. If you use a Roth IRA, you invest post-tax dollars. That $500 contribution costs the full $500 because you have already paid taxes on it. Over the same 35 years at 8%, the account grows to the same $1.1 million. But when you withdraw it, you pay zero taxes. You keep the full $1.1 million. In this scenario, the Roth wins. But notice why. It wins because we assumed the same contribution amount in nominal terms. If you actually invested the tax savings from the traditional 401k, that $110 per month you saved on taxes into a separate taxable account, and let that grow separately, the math gets much closer to equal. The traditional 401k plus invested tax savings versus the Roth ends up very close to the same outcome in most scenarios. The real differentiator is not the account structure, it is the tax rate arbitrage. The question is whether you are buying your future tax bill at a discount or at full price, and that depends entirely on trajectory.
Why your age and income trajectory changes everything. This is the part that most people in their 20s get completely backwards, and it costs them. When you are 22, 25, 28, just starting your career, you are almost certainly in the lowest tax bracket you will ever occupy for the rest of your working life. Your income will grow. Your tax rate will likely increase over time. The 22% you pay today may be 24 or 32% in 15 years when your career is at its peak and your income has grown substantially. If that is the trajectory, and for most people who are ambitious, educated, and career-focused, it is, then the Roth IRA is the single best financial tool available to you right now. You are paying taxes at your lowest rate, and you are locking in that rate on every dollar of growth that will occur over the next 30 to 40 years. You are in effect buying your future tax bill on sale. Every dollar you put into a Roth IRA at age 25 in the 22% bracket has a specific cost in taxes. Every dollar of growth that comes from that contribution comes out tax-free at retirement. If you are in the 32% bracket at retirement, the effective tax savings on the growth alone is enormous. Now flip the scenario. You are 52 years old. Your income peaked at 45 and has been stable. You are currently in the 32% bracket and expect to retire in 12 or 13 years with a significantly lower income because you will be drawing down savings instead of earning a salary. Your tax rate in retirement will likely be 15 or even 12%. In this case, the traditional 401k makes more sense. Take the deduction at 32% today and pay taxes at 15% in retirement. That is a 17 percentage point spread in your favor. This is why the answer to Roth versus 401k is not the same for a 25-year-old teacher as it is for a 52-year-old executive. The math literally runs in opposite directions depending on your income trajectory.
The contribution limits and the income problem most people ignore. Now let me talk about the practical constraints, because they matter. In 2024, you can contribute up to $23,000 annually to a 401k if you are under 50. You can contribute up to $7,000 annually to a Roth IRA with an additional $1,000 catch-up contribution if you are 50 or older. The Roth IRA has one major limitation the 401k does not: income limits. If your modified adjusted gross income is above $161,000 as a single filer or above $240,000 as a married couple filing jointly, you cannot contribute directly to a Roth IRA at all. This is where a lot of high earners get confused. They hear about Roth IRAs, they understand the tax-free growth concept, they want in, and then they discover they are over the income limit. What most of them do not know is that there is a legal strategy called the backdoor Roth IRA that allows high earners to effectively contribute to a Roth regardless of income. It involves making a non-deductible traditional IRA contribution and then converting it to a Roth. It is legal, it is widely used, but it requires understanding the pro rata rule and working with a tax advisor to execute correctly. And many people who could benefit from it never do because nobody tells them it exists. The 401k has no income limit for contributions. Anyone with an employer-sponsored 401k can contribute up to the annual maximum regardless of how much they earn. This is one area where the 401k has a clear structural advantage.
The employer match, the most misunderstood part of this entire question. Here is something I want to be very direct about because I see people get this wrong constantly. If your employer offers a match on your 401k contributions, that match is free money. It is a 100% immediate return on your investment before the market opens tomorrow morning. This is the highest guaranteed return available to any working American. Use it completely before you debate anything else. A typical employer match is 50 cents per dollar up to 6% of your salary. If you earn $70,000 per year and contribute 6%, $4,200, your employer adds $2,100. That is a 50% return on those dollars before the market opens tomorrow morning. This is the highest guaranteed return available to any working American. Use it completely before you debate anything else. The combination strategy. Most financial advisors use themselves. Here is the strategy that most people who actually understand this space use for their own money. It is not either or, it is sequential. Step 1. Contribute enough to your 401k to get the full employer match. This is non-negotiable. Every dollar of match captured is a guaranteed 100% return. Step 2. Max out your Roth IRA, $7,000 per year if you are under 50. This money grows tax-free and comes out tax-free in retirement. You are getting the best of the Roth structure on top of the matched 401k contributions. Step 3. If you have money remaining after maxing the Roth IRA, go back to your 401k and increase contributions toward the $23,000 annual maximum. Step 4. If you are in a high tax bracket and expect to be in a lower one in retirement, the traditional 401k contributions in Step 3 make more sense than a Roth 401k if your employer offers one. This sequence is not arbitrary. It is designed to capture the highest return opportunity first, then the best tax structure for long-term growth, then the remaining tax-deferred space. Most people either put everything in the 401k and never touch a Roth, or they hear about Roth IRAs and contribute to that alone while leaving employer match dollars uncaptured. Both approaches are leaving money on the table. The combination approach does neither.
The Roth conversion strategy for people who started too late. What if you are 45, 50, or beyond, and you have spent decades contributing to a traditional 401k? Is it too late to benefit from the Roth structure? Not necessarily. There is a strategy called a Roth conversion that allows you to take money from a traditional IRA or 401k and move it into a Roth account. You pay income tax on the amount you convert in the year of conversion. The money then grows tax-free from that point forward and comes out tax-free in retirement. The ideal window for Roth conversions is the early years of retirement, the gap between when you stop working and when you are required to take minimum distributions from your retirement accounts at age 73. During that window, your income drops significantly because you are not earning a salary. You may be in the 12 or 15% tax bracket instead of the 24 or 32% you were in during your peak earning years. Converting traditional retirement assets during that low income window allows you to pay taxes on those funds at a deeply discounted rate compared to what you would have paid during your career. It is a form of tax rate arbitrage executed in reverse. Instead of contributing at low rates and growing tax-free, you are converting at low rates and growing tax-free from that point forward. This strategy requires careful planning. Converting too much in a single year can push you into a higher bracket and reduce the efficiency of the conversion. But done thoughtfully over several years, Roth conversions can meaningfully reduce the lifetime tax burden on retirement savings, even for people who did not start with a Roth from the beginning.
The psychology of why people choose wrong. I want to spend a moment on something that does not get discussed enough in finance content. The reason most people make the wrong choice between Roth and 401k is not lack of information. It is psychology. The traditional 401k feels better today. You contribute and your paycheck is larger, or rather it hurts less, because the taxes come out later. The immediate feedback is positive. You feel like you are being rewarded for saving. The Roth IRA feels worse today. You contribute after-tax money. Your paycheck does not benefit in any visible way. The reward is decades in the future, in the form of tax-free withdrawals. Your brain is being asked to accept a worse feeling now for a better outcome later. Research consistently shows that humans heavily discount future rewards relative to immediate ones. The technical term is hyperbolic discounting, we value present comfort disproportionately compared to future benefit. And the traditional 401k is structured in a way that rewards present comfort. The Roth is structured in a way that rewards future outcome. This is not a coincidence. Traditional 401ks became dominant partly because employers found higher participation rates when the immediate paycheck impact was minimized. People sign up more readily when the cost feels lower today. The system optimized for participation, not necessarily for the best financial outcome for each individual. Understanding this psychological pull does not make you immune to it, but it does give you the ability to recognize when you are making a decision based on how it feels rather than what the math says. And in retirement planning, the math matters enormously more than the feeling.